Check. Good morning, traders. This is Barry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 10 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, the 13th of September, 2024. So, as we look back at yesterday's session, right, we had all that poor structure that was left on Wednesday's session, and lo and behold, the Bears got nothing and probably didn't like it. As we just continued to slowly grind up on all of the indexes and playing keep away a little bit more, but it was an incremental day up. Uh, it was about 1% for the Nasdaq, three quarters of a percent for the ES. 6/10 for the Dow and 1 1/4 for the Russell. So uh, and then a lot of that surge was, the overnight area was very muted. If you look between these on the top of this chart, between the red dotted and the green dotted, that was the overnight highs and lows on all the indexes. And you can see you just kind of were traipsing along until late in the afternoon, or about probably shortly after noon, we had that push up. But if you look at each of the if you're looking at this lower chart here for the Nasdaq, each one of these light pink lines are a QQQ, my guesstimate of where the Qs will be at the time. But that's about 40, 41 and a half points between each of those lines. And we went up, so that was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 200-point move up, right? Followed by 120 points down in I think like 6 or 7 minutes or less, and then just right back up and took some more distribution there. And if you look at the ES, it's just uh, sitting there, right at 5,600 on the cash is what this represented yesterday, is where it was. Getting close because this contract is almost over. The cost to carry, right, between the futures and the actual index, the SPX, is almost the same, right? It will be the same next Friday morning at 9:29 a.m. With that said, we don't hold these contracts and trade them until the last possible minute. Today is the last day that it is the front month for September. So that's the title of my video, the end of September. So it's tongue in cheek because this is the last day, this is the front month. So as we look at what this did to structure, right, the only real notable line was right here on the ES had a split just under 55.80. We'll get the exact level here in just a minute. The rest of it, all the markers that you see is, markers that we have from previous sessions. So let's look at the news flow real quick. Uh, Again, today's the last day on most platforms that September is going to be the front month. Do yourself a favor. This is my PSA. Before you shut down your stuff today for the weekend, change all of your contracts from September to December. So when you come in Monday morning, you're ready to go. You don't have any cobwebs on, and you're not trading September. You are trading December. So roll your stuff before you shut it down today, so it's all set for Monday. So Monday we're going to have rollover. Wednesday we're going to have the VIX expiration. Uh, the FOMC first rate cut. Woohoo! And then we're going to have quad witch. So this looks to be, on paper, looking at the forecasting coming in, uh, next Monday and Tuesday, whatever. But from Wednesday to Friday should be just a volatile, you know, freak show. And you better plan on cutting your size probably by uh, 75%. So if you used to trade 4 contracts, you should probably only be trading one from Wednesday on. If you used to trade 8 contracts, you could trade two. And if you do, it's hard to just trade one. If you are going to be just trading one, maybe start with two and then take one off like Jack does with an ATR. But I don't even know if you're going to be able to, intelligently trade 3 contracts, even on the micros. Uh, from Wednesday to Friday. We'll have to see. It could be a non-event, but my guess is it'll just be, uh, it'll probably be some of the biggest volatility we've seen this year, and we've seen quite a bit of volatility this year. So there's my PSAs for that. Uh, Looking at news today, right? We have Eurogroup meetings going on, Eco Fine meetings going on. Who really cares? Uh, at 10 o'clock, we're going to have University of Michigan, and that's it for the news today. Looking at, what's expiring today and what's going off, we have just our weeklies, right? So we got, right now, the Qs are trading 473 half. So they are right here. You can see that we're, you know, at the top end of the range. I mean, there's nothing to keep us from going higher. There's no real resistance up here for today. We got, 475, 480 are, bigger positions for next week. And remember, next week is a major expiration, where this week is just a minor expiration. But for today, probably 470 would be your floor. It would take a lot to get under there, but we could just cruise up to 480, uh, if we can get past 475. So keep in mind, 475, 480 are definitely on the table. Looking at the SPY, nothing really going on there. Looking at the cash market, 5,500 is still your largest gamma as we're sitting here uh, trading, 56.14. So the biggest gamma next week right now going on the books, and this week expiring today is, 5,500. But you can see we're right at 5,600. You can see there's a decent amount of gamma there for today expiring. So keep in mind that's probably your pivot back and forth today, and it might even be a pin. So I think we beat up that. Looking at where we are, so if look at how clean these untested points of control are, we have one that goes back uh, to the all-time high, right? That was from the session on July 16th. Then we have one from this swing low that happened on August 5th. Then we have one that is from August 12th, right? And then this whole mess in the middle, right? We keep trading this. What this is telling you is odds favor, and of course, as soon as you see a pattern, it can disappear. This We've been in this range for quite a while now, but what I'm trying to say is every single day, the point of control from the previous day has traded. So the point of control is, basically just under 5,600 at 55.99 half for the bell session, and that is likely to trade today. Right now we're about 14, 15 points above that level. So keep that in mind, and we'll have to see, which way. It really hasn't meant anything. It only means something if it doesn't trade, right? If you stay above it or you stay below it, that is more significant to the keep away game. So this is the last day that we're going to look at this, what ended up being quite a messy chart, because when we look at this money, we'll be looking at the Z24 contracts, and I'll have to, throw some new support resistance, one-time framing, all that nonsense on there. And we are going to be, you know, considerably higher on the futures come Monday morning than we are right now as the front month, because it's probably, another 150 points higher. I didn't even look yet, but my guess is at least 150 points between the Z and the U contracts for the NASDAQ. So again, this 5,600 for the ES, you see this blue line going around. This is where we lost, in my opinion. That's where the consolidation break was, right? We come up here, hit the top at 56.66 basically, and then rammed right through. And this is our first time coming up here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half, let's call it, sessions of traders that, were long up here potentially and then got flushed, right? Some of them will probably want their money back. Not all of them, because they're thinking, and it could be right, it could be wrong, that, they had their chance to go lower. Let's just be greedy now. I've got get my money back. I'll see if it can go up higher. where the people that are ruled by fear, they're like, oh my God, I held on to this mess, I lost my ass, I've got my ass back, I've got my newfound ass, I'm taking it, I'm walking away, it's Friday, I'll reset this stuff for next week. So I guess what I'm saying, there should be a lot of churning in this zone. You could fly potentially all the way to the top end of it. If we go there fast, that should be a sell at 56.66, even 62 half. I would say anywhere from 56.42 half to 56.66 should be a 56.66 should be a sell. So, anyways, what you want to see right now is if, and that would be on a first test. What you want to see now, does 5600 hold? Because that's where that gamma is today. And then back over at the NASDAQ, that line in the sand is 19,337 to 234. This is the buffer area, the support that if the bulls are going to be able to keep it held up, that's the way it should be. You start going underneath those levels for some reason today, you should go right under yesterday's low, and you should take back some of that poor structure from Wednesday. So those are the scenarios I'm looking at. You know, it doesn't mean that any of them have to happen today, right? They will all happen next week at one point or the other. Just because next week will be a complete shit show uh, coming into the end of the week. So the market does not move on your schedule. The market moves on its schedule. Overnight action, 20 and a half points. And we're just sitting here, just is, we're in positive gamma. We're in very large positive gamma at that. So that means it's mean reverting. The moves are smaller, the ATRs are smaller. And that's probably going to continue into that VIX expiration next Wednesday. I mean, and if you look at, I'm not going to bring it back up, but if you look at the chart, any of the charts, when we've had these fast moves, whether it's up or down intraday, right? There's been almost zero follow through the last several days. And that's because of that. That is inherent with this positive gamma. So, you get a quick move down, it's just manipulation. You get a quick move up, it's manipulation. It's probably going to revert back to the mean. Don't be, suckered in. Uh, you know, if you want to step aside, that's one thing. But it's almost better in this environment to wait until after someone gets royally screwed as a day trader and just let it revert a little bit. Try the reversion trade on the royally screwed. So you can sit there and look for one of Jack's big yellow expansion bars on his ATR code and then, you know, see what you can get after that comes into effect as opposed to just holding something that is going nowhere in either direction. So there's my 2 cents on that today as well. I guess I'm just full of nuggets, right? Haha. So as we look at where we're at, the Russell is above yesterday's high. Uh, the Nasdaq is right at value area, the low side of value area high. The ES is above yesterday's high, right at that 56.12 quarter previous split, and then the Dow has a split up here. Uh, right at 41,286, and then it's got a set of single prints, right? If we look at those singles, they go from 41,269 to 41,301. So above or below that zone as well. And then you don't get a whole lot. I guess you get about another 110 points or so up to 41,396. So again, I'm not looking for a ball bust and rip roar and trending day one way or the other. I'm looking more of what we've had in the last yesterday and today. Keep in mind, the only thing that will change that is if you really got the VIX one time framing one way or the other, and you're starting to get below yesterday's low. We're at value area high. We could obviously rotate down to value area low somehow, but you've got to get past these splits. So 19,386, and then even if you get down under value area low and you're heading towards this low, yesterday's lows, it looks like you're going to take it out. There's a high chance you stop at 19,201 and don't even get to that low, and it's just another sucker move. So don't be a sucker today. So 55.47 is another split. 55.78. If you're in equity profiles, you have these lines on the chart as I provided them for you. They're just, these aren't like Fib levels or not to the tick levels. They're just, you know, if you're above it, you'd rather be playing. Think of bottom of zones. You'd rather be, if you're potentially near the bottom of the zone, you'd want to play for reversion back up towards the middle or the top of it. If you're in this zone, right, you'd rather play for, you know, the middle to the bottom of that, right? So just think of these as that's what when we're in positive gamma, you got to think about these as small stepping stones zones and not wild, we're trending massively in this direction or the other direction. We're definitely consolidating up here on highs going at FOMC more than likely until Tuesday. So we'll see, can we start inching back down as day traders? Will shorts be the better distribution? Potentially. Can we trade some of these single prints before Wednesday afternoon? Sure. Can we trade them all? Absolutely not. You guys have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you in December on Monday.